What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new episode of The 8 Below Show. Welcome everyone to The 8 Below Show, the best gaming related show here on YouTube. And I'm super excited about our episode here today. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, so let's get into it. Journey to the Savage Planet was a title, guys, that I've played myself, and it kind of reminds me of other games out there. It reminds me of a much smaller, like No Man's Sky, and has kind of its own flavor and twist to this genre. But with that, guys, I want to talk about Journey to the Savage Planet, and could we potentially get a sequel at some point or another to this title? Because this is one that I've gotten some questions about, and people have been asking, people who love Journey to the Savage Planet have been asking the question, will we get a sequel to this? So will we ever see a Journey to the Savage Planet 2? Let's talk about it. So guys, just to give some context here, this is a title that, of course, came out in 2020 as an adventure game. That came out this year, guys, in January. Came out on the Nintendo Switch in May, on May 21st. And so, guys, this is a title that's on Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, as well as Xbox One, which, of course, like I said, Nintendo Switch also got a version a little bit earlier this year as well. So this is a title that, in my opinion, if you want to look at will we ever see a sequel to it, there's two things that come up. Number one is obviously the sales, the amount of sales that the game is doing. Is it doing well? Is it not so much? And number two is, at the end of the day, the reception. What type of reviews is a title getting? Those are the two main things that come into play when a developer decides to make another game or not. So let's, talk about that, because what we can look at this point in time, guys, is the reception. So this is a title that was developed by Typhoon Studios. The publisher is 505 Games. And the reception for this game, the Xbox One and Windows versions, received generally positive reviews according to review aggregator Metacritic, while the PlayStation 4 received mixed reviews. Now, what I will say, guys, is I played it on Xbox, and I will say that there were some, frame rates and things of that nature that were a little bit off at times, some bugs and things of that sort. However, overall, I really enjoyed the concepts in the game. Some things I didn't think really hit, where they were trying to go with it, but I think there's definitely a foundation here of where they could maybe move in the future. So, according to Metacritic on PC, it was 76 out of 100, PS4 74 out of 100, and Xbox One 76 out of 100. So you're talking definitely above average reviews. Now, when you look at the review scores from Destructoid, 8.5 out of 10, pretty good. GameSpot gave it a 7 out of 10. IGN gave it a 6 out of 10, still a little bit above average there. And then, of course, PC Gamer gave it an 84 out of 100. So let's just say, guys, you had average to positive reviews overall. And I would say it was more positive than not so much. But at the end of the day, that's the first step. If you got some pretty positive reception, or at least average to positive, you got something to work with here. Now you've got a company, of course, in Typhoon Studios that can go ahead and take what they did right, what they did wrong, and what they can do different moving forward in Journey to the Savage Planet 2. And so the second part of it, guys, is sales, and is the developer going to work on another title like Journey to the Savage Planet 2 at some point or another? So Typhoon Studios, we really have to look at this company to really kind of dictate whether or not we believe a Journey to the Savage Planet 2 is really in the cards. So guys, as far as the history is concerned here, Typhoon Studios is a Canadian video game development company based in Montreal, Canada. It was founded by former employees of Ubisoft, EA, as well as Warner Brothers Games Montreal in January of 2017. So the studio, guys, has not been around for that long, and they've really actually started to build somewhat of a resume. But the studio was acquired by Google Stadia in December of 2019. So this is a huge deal. This is really very big that Google Stadia acquired them. So what could that mean about Journey to the Savage Planet 2? Well, the studio, of course, was founded by Alex Hutchinson in 2017, as well as Yasin Riani and Reed Schneider. On December 6, 2018, at the Game Awards 2018, the studio presented the trailer of their first project called Journey to the Savage Planet, a first-person game focused on a world of aliens full of creatures, in which the main mission of the player is to explore the planet for the displacement of the human colony. And then, of course, guys, Google, under their Stadia brand, acquired Typhoon in December of 2019. Jade Raymond, head of Stadia Stadia's Games and Entertainment Division said that Typhoon has shown AAA quality work in a short time and will be using Typhoon to help develop additional content for the Stadia program or platform, and Journey to the Savage Planet was not part of the acquisition. So what does that mean? Well, it's kind of hard to say. So when you see Journey to the Savage Planet was not part of the acquisition, Typhoon can maybe work on that on the sidelines. They can work on that on their own. But at the same time, they got bought out by Stadia and really Google at the end of the day. And, obviously Google and Stadia are going to want them to be working on things for their platform. So to be honest, guys, it's kind of looking a little bit bleak, in my opinion, that Journey to the Savage Planet 2 will happen anytime soon, because Typhoon is going to be so focused on, the Stadia brand and really kind of probably adding more, just exclusive titles for them. And Journey to the Savage Planet, the one title that they've really worked on in a major way at this point in time as a studio. I mean, could they bring it out at some point? It's interesting that wasn't a part of the acquisition. Maybe Google didn't want them to work on a second game. Maybe they just didn't think it was worth it. Or Typhoon said, no, we want to still have, full control of Journey to the Savage Planet. So could Journey to the Savage Planet turn into something like No Man's Sky, where they're consistently adding more and more to it over time? That's possible. I just think that when you look at this, and Typhoon Studios being bought out by Google and Google Stadia in particular, that's really telling me that they're going to be working on, all the content for the Stadia platform, exclusive content to Stadia. And so I'm not sure exactly what that's going to look like. Could it be a Journey to the Savage Planet 2? Maybe at some point. But right now, guys, I don't think there's going to be any, any end in sight when it comes to the second, game in this game, or to this title. And so at the same time, Journey to the Savage Planet did get a DLC earlier this year. It's probably going to get a couple other DLCs at some point or another. I'm hoping they do make a second game, but that's the second part of this. It doesn't really even, to me, come down to the sales of Journey to the Savage Planet as much as it does that Typhoon Studios got bought out by Google Stadia. So with that, let me know, guys, what do you think? Do you think we're ever going to see a Journey to the Savage Planet 2, or do you think they'll kind of just consistently update it, make it better and a better experience, similar to like No Man's Sky? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Journey to the Savage Planet content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've talked on the YouTube channel about Dead Island and this franchise moving forward, and I wanted to talk more in particular, guys, about Dead Island 2, the things that we know so far about it, and where is it at this point in time? Because, man, it's felt like we've seen little things, little snippets here and there, but nothing really, concrete as far as release date and things of that nature. So I want to talk about everything that we know so far about the title. We can talk about it, we can speculate, and I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So according to Dead Island 2's Wikipedia page, Dead Island 2 is obviously an upcoming action role-playing game developed by Dambuster Studios and published by Deep Silver for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. It is the sequel to the 2011 video game Dead Island, third major installment in the Dead Island series. Now, as far as what we can tell so far, guys, obviously developer, publisher, the platforms. Now, the release date is still to be decided. This is a game that has been, in and out of development for quite some time. We know the genre is action role-playing, and we know that the modes seem to be single-player and multiplayer, whether that's going to be like co-op multiplayer or if it's going to be like PvP, PvE, whatever it's going to be. It's hard to say, but we are getting single-player as well as multiplayer. Now, in an article from Game Informer, guys, written by Brian Shea of Game Informer, Dead Island 2 might not be dead after job listing surfaces. The oft-delayed, always mysterious Dead Island 2 might still be coming if a job listing at developer Dambuster Studios is any indication. The position is for an art director to work on a recreation of Los Angeles and create the sun-soaked backdrop to a full-scale zombie apocalypse set across the iconic Californian city for the next installment in the world-renowned Dead Island franchise. The listing also references creating a title for current and future platforms, potentially hinting at a cross-gen release for the game. So here's what I'm going to say about that. I think we are definitely getting Dead Island 2, guys. I don't think that there's any debate about that at this point. We're going to get Dead Island 2, but when it's going to come out, I mean, part of me is wondering, is this a game that's going through a significant development hell kind of process? Because it's just been, kind of taking a very long time to get this made. This is a game that should have already come out. I don't know really what seems to be the hang-up here, but it's been a long and bumpy road for Dead Island 2, the follow-up to Techland's co-op zombie-killing titles. After developing 2011's Dead Island and its 2013 follow-up, Dead Island, Riptide, and Polish Studio moved on from the franchise to start a new post-apocalyptic zombie series, Dying Light, which obviously, guys, we love Dying Light as well, but we definitely want Dead Island to come back. During Dead Island 2's reveal at E3 2014, it was announced that Spec Ops, the line developer Jaeger Development, was put in charge of the numbered sequel. However, Deep Silver and Jaeger had a falling out, and Deep Silver transitioned development to Team Sonic Racing and Crackdown 3 studio Sumo Digital in 2016. Then last year, it was announced that Dambuster Studios, which took over development on Homefront: The Revolution when Crytek suffered financial woes and its relationship with Deep Silver went downhill, would be taking over Dead Island 2 as well. An interesting twist, seeing as how Jaeger and Crytek shared Deep Silver's E3 2014 meeting area to show off Dead Island 2 and Homefront: The Revolution respectively. Now Dambuster Studio will have hopefully finished both of these titles. So it's been going through a number of hands, and that's why I'm very concerned about Dead Island 2, even though what we've seen so far I'm excited about. But at the end of the day, it's felt like it's gone through so many different people's hands and so many different creative differences. That's where you go from this development hell cycle, and then the game comes out, it's not finished. There's a lot of story holes or plot holes, and that's something that could be a real problem for the single player story. And then multiplayer, hopefully, this is something that's really fleshed out. That might be why they're taking their time, guys. They don't want to rush this thing out. If we go over to an article, guys, that was written by Wesley Yinpool, who's the deputy editor over at Eurogamer, it lives. People are downloading and playing a 5-year-old build of Dead Island 2. The build, which reportedly emerged on the V-board of 4chan, is playable, although there are placeholder assets throughout. It is dated June of 2015. Now, Eurogamer has verified this build is the work of Spec Ops, the line maker Jaeger, which was tasked by publisher Deep Silver with making the zombie sequel before both parties split amid creative differences in 2015 in July. In March of 2016, Deep Silver announced UK studio Sumo Digital had taken on Dead Island 2. Then in August 2019, Deep Silver announced it had brought development in-house at Homefront: The Revolution maker Dambuster Studios. Dead Island 2 has been in the works for quite some time then, and has clearly suffered a rocky development as it's shifted between 3 studios. And that's what I'm saying, guys. I mean, it shifted between 3 different studios. We had the official announcement trailer back at E3 2014. Like, what is going on? What we've seen of Dead Island 2 showed it as a colorful and crazy, an 8-player multiplayer zombie riot in sunny LA. It was playable by press at events throughout the second half of 2014 at a time when the game was due out spring of 2015, but in April 2015, it was delayed to 2016, suggesting major problems were afoot. And I gotta say, guys, I mean, back in 2016, you're having problems. Guys, it's 2020, and there's no end in sight for this. Dead Island 2 is still without a release date, but Coach Media boss Clemens recently insisted it was still important for the company. Look, Dead Island is a very important brand for us, and we've got to get it right. It's just a testimony of our dedication to get it right. While this build of Dead Island 2 is still very playable, it's unlikely to resemble the Dead Island 2 that will be officially released. And that's what I'm saying here, guys, is that the thing I'm concerned about is the build that people saw back in 2014, it very well may have changed in a drastic way. It's going through a number of different hands, creative differences are happening. It's just a lot of problems, right? And so, even though I'm very excited for this title, and it very well may be worth the wait, and that's what I'm hoping for. Guys, I want this to be a great title. All of you out there know that I'm a huge horror fan. I love horror games, guys, and this is one of those titles I'm really excited to get my hands on and play. But the thing about it is that you got to call a spade a spade. There are problems happening behind the scenes. Now, maybe not anymore, but there was certainly a lot of problems building up here with this title, and it's really unfortunate. It's very an unfortunate thing that this title has gone through so many different hands, because I think it's a great IP. I think there's a lot of possibility to it, and to think that so many people just don't like where the direction Deep Silver's going, that's concerning me as well. But we'll have to wait and see. What do you guys think about Dead Island 2. Are you guys excited for this title? Are you concerned like I am? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more Dead Island 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. We've talked about the Perfect Dark reboot, and I wanted to go ahead and talk in more detail, guys, about everything that we know so far about this reboot, even though we don't have a reveal trailer, we don't really have much to go on, but there's a lot of speculation, a lot of rumblings of what's going on behind the scenes and what we could expect in the future with this title. I'm very excited about it, and I want to definitely get into it. So let's start. So with that being said, guys, in an article written by Nathan Gibson of Screen Rant, Microsoft's AAA first-party studio, The Initiative, might be working on a brand new Perfect Dark game according to a seasoned industry leaker. A new game set in the Perfect Dark universe could be in the works, with gaming journalist Jeff Grubb suggesting that Xbox's new studio, The Initiative, is in charge of the project. If true, it would mark the first time that a new entry in the franchise has been released since 2005. The Initiative hit headlines this week when it was revealed that the new studio was working on a so-called AAA game. Although the developer was officially unveiled in 2018, Microsoft has been quiet on what it is working on. Xbox boss Phil Spencer has confirmed that the Initiative is challenging itself to do things, new things as well as old things in new ways. What fans do know is that the studio has hired a number of high-profile individuals from developers such as Crystal Dynamics, Rockstar, SIE, Santa Monica, BioWare, Naughty Dog, and Respawn Entertainment. Now, with that being said, guys, there was a tweet that came out of a Nibelian, who is an industry leaker. According to 5-star insider Jeffrey Grubb, The Initiative is working on a new third-person Perfect Dark game. Spencer CS tweeted saying, "Wait, did you confirm this?" And Jeff Grubb, he said, "Confirm is a loaded term. I said it." As Randall Thor points out, it might not be exactly Perfect Dark, but it's playing in that universe. So basically what we're getting, guys, is confirmation that Perfect Dark is coming, okay? And it's third person. So we could speculate all day about really where they could be going with this story and such. Now look, I'm going to say this when we talk about a Perfect Dark reboot, and we saw the image that came out from Xbox Game Studios. They had an image showing all the developers and what they're working on. Like, for example, it showed that the Coalition is working on Gear 6, which has not been announced as of yet either. But it did show that Perfect Dark and a Perfect Dark reboot is coming. It actually also said, I believe, that the Coalition is helping with the Perfect Dark reboot. So there's a number of different, studios and developers that are working on this reboot as we speak. And so that's very exciting. Just the fact of the matter that it's coming is huge. Now, what I do think they should do with this Perfect Dark reboot is really make it a traditional reboot. I mean, make this a game in which people who never played the old Perfect Dark games, give them a taste of what it's all about and really, the story so far, if you're planning on like continuing, or if you're just going to kind of start from the very beginning, similar like what Call of Duty did with Modern Warfare when they did that as a soft reboot. Is this like a true reboot? Or is it a soft reboot, kind of like Call of Duty Modern Warfare? I would be okay with either or, just because it's been so long since we got a Perfect Dark game. I would be okay with a soft reboot or just a all-in reboot, guys, just reboot in the traditional sense. But the Perfect Dark series was one of Rare's most successful. The first game launched in 2000 for the Nintendo 64, and the British developer later released a sequel for the Xbox 360 after Microsoft purchased the studio and its IP several years later. The company also released a remastered version of the original title through the Xbox Live Arcade in 2010. Each game follows protagonist Joanna Dark, a secret agent who works for a technology company in a dystopian future. Now, what I'm going to say about that is Microsoft purchased the IP and the studio, and yet they haven't come out with new games in the franchise. I mean, this was a beloved franchise, guys, and it should have continued all these years, and it hasn't. And you can really say that with Microsoft owning the rights to Fable. I mean, why haven't we seen Fable? I mean, Halo, finally we're getting another Halo Infinite. These cult classic IPs need to come back. Sure, Microsoft is investing a ton of money to bring out new IPs as well, because they definitely want to be the Netflix of gaming. But some of these older IPs, I mean, these would do really well in today's market, in my personal opinion. Perfect Dark definitely being one of them. The news that Microsoft might be resurrecting the beloved Perfect Dark series might go some way to creating positivity in the run-up to the launch of the Xbox Series X. Whatever the initiative is working on is sure to grab plenty of attention, especially when Microsoft has managed to attract so many talented developers to work at the studio. And that is 100% true, guys. The fact of the matter that Microsoft has all these developers now and all these studios that they've purchased, and they are creating, some like the most exclusive content we've ever seen from a console, studio. It's going to be something pretty impressive, I think, as we go. I mean, they're investing for the long term here, the long haul. After buying Bethesda, guys, most recently, I mean, that's huge, guys. It's absolutely huge. I mean, they are aggressively trying to seek victory the long term. I'm not so much talking about the console wars so much as far as, they're trying to sell more Xbox Series X's than the PlayStation 5. They're more looking at, we want to get people to sign up for Game Pass, and that is something that lots of people are signing up for. So, Perfect Dark, guys, is this a game that's going to come out? I do believe so. Where they could go in so many different directions, but I think making it a solid reboot or a soft reboot, either one, guys, I would be okay with. Third person, going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out, but I'm all in, guys. I'm all in on this, because at the end of the day, if you're a Perfect Dark fan, regardless of which way it's coming back, at least we're getting it. And so whether you're talking first person, third person, mobile game, or console, I mean, whatever it might be, the more that we can get and sink our teeth into with this universe, the better. So I'm very excited about this, and I'll be sure to give you guys more information as it comes out. Let me know in the comment section down below, what are you guys most excited about when it comes to Perfect Dark and the reboot that is coming? Let me know. And for more Perfect Dark content and videos, stay here with Zero TV. And with that being said, everyone, I hope you guys did enjoy this episode of The 8 Below Show. And if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, stay positive. And as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.